Good evening, Oral Gibbs, and welcome to Oral Gibbs Live. And with me this evening, I have the one and only the Honorable Member of Parliament.
Oh la la.
Right, people say, oh, that's, how you doing, Fernando?
I'm all right, man. How you doing? I mean, the accolades there, a little premature, but
So everything all right?
yeah, man, good. How things with you?
All right, I got to congratulate you on your new job now that you're taking over the calling shows at PGD2 Radio.
Yeah. Actually, this happened since about June of this year, but we made it official earlier this month, late last month. Lloyd announced it that he has really retired and he has moved back to the United States, or I should say moved to the United States, and the program is now in my hands. And
When he moved back.
yeah,
I put him over because he's from there.
He used to live there. That's why I said move and then
Yeah.
move back and move, But that's where he is now. And he has retired. He has done it for 28 years. And although I have been in radio for a long time, my
For
radio
that time too,
program
right?
yeah. But not as long as you guys, I still consider myself a new kid on the block.
But you did Culture Time for almost 30 years, right?
Yeah, Culture Time has been on the air for almost 30 years. I've been with Culture Time for 19 years.
Oh, okay.
Fabian had been running it for over 10 years before I really joined him. But yeah, and then I started a program myself back in 2003, and I called it Online, So in this business, I'm no stranger, but like I said, not as long as Lloyd and yourself, and I consider you to be the pioneer of talk shows on St. Martin. Now, somebody was telling me, no, Lenstein used to have a program long ago, a call-in program, and I said to them, but I still consider Oral Gibbs to be the pioneer because he continued and he was consistent.
Well, I think what I always tell people is what I did was different. When I started issues on PGD2, it wasn't your traditional talk show.
Yeah.
The format of the show was I sat down on Sunday morning at 10, and you can call and throw your questions or comments, and we have a conversation. You talk about any issue that was called issues. There was nothing like it before that.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I always tell people in that context, it was unique, it was different. In fact, Mr. Hughes didn't even want to do it. It took me 2 years to convince him to give me an opportunity to do it on the station
Because it was new.
Exactly, and
to the
it's different.
community.
It's different too because I wasn't working for PGD2. I was producing the show at PGD2, and the first 3 months, Don said, "Look, all right, no, you can't make it, so don't even bother to pay me." 3 months after that, we got some sponsors and we were able to pay. So it was a different idea that continued up to today. And in those days, it was very difficult to start a show like that.
Yeah.
It was,
Well, we have seen so many who started and eventually stopped. Like Night Rap was another good
Right.
program that used to start at midnight and go until 2 in the morning. And when I started my program, I wanted it to be a continuation of Night Rap. Well, I wasn't going to start at 12 at night, but I start like 8 in the evening until midnight. Now I do from 9 to 11, so I cut an hour later and an hour earlier. But there are those who started in the business and for whatever reason, they didn't continue. In your case, you have been in this business for like 30 years and
more than that.
consistently,
More than that.
non-stop.
Yeah.
You've moved on from radio to TV, and that's a different thing, but you are like the pioneer in that, and then you have other people who have recorded programs on TV or on radio, but it's not the same format like what we do.
Yeah.
If you take the Valerie Van Putten Hodge, the Beverly Hymans, and some others who have their program either on radio or on TV, but they have a different format. And I always tell people, we really have the hot seats, the real hot seats, because in a program like yours, it's difficult to determine or to predict who will call in, what will they discuss, what will they say, how do you steer your program. When you have a guest, you sit down with your guest and you discuss, hey, this is what we're going to talk about, and so on. And those type of programs, where you could tell people, look, I have such and such as my guest, this is what we're going to talk about. You already steer the program in a way. They don't have call-ins and that sort of thing. And the programs are pre-recorded. But when you have a live program like this, or like what I do, you never know what's going to happen.
But what's tough when they started issues? 3 Sundays out of the month, you had a topic. You couldn't stray away from that topic.
Yeah.
And then on the 4th Sunday, you had Wild Sunday. You're allowed to talk about anything you want to talk about. So that's difficult.
Yeah.
To stick on and to keep people on that. And that's why I admire when Mr. Lloyd Richardson came to me and said, look, you're leaving, I want to continue. I said, look, you got to talk to Don Hughes because, I'm not doing the show anymore. And he went to Hughes. The thing is, it's hard to get people to do what you're doing. I don't know how you do it because, you're on the radio all the time. And Monday to Monday. I don't know how long you can keep that. You've been doing that for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing what you're doing. So in a way, you created a whole new niche just for yourself alone.
It's a tough thing, to be there from Sunday to Friday,
Not Saturday? You're off on
I
Saturday?
don't do Saturdays.
Oh,
Thank God I have a day off. But you do from
You're not
Sunday
7 day, right?
to Friday. No. But it is, you're there every single day. And when you do something so often, you have to try to be not to get bored.
Yeah.
That people don't say, oh, same thing again. And you have to find a way to keep the interest of the people.
But you don't get bored.
No. And sometimes you have to look for guests. And people tend to think that the program is geared towards politics.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily the truth. It is a program to inform people. And I try to do a little entertainment in between, so you inform and entertain. But when you have these call-in programs, like you said, you call it Wild Sunday. Well, I have wild every day. And it could get wild at times,
Yeah.
I remember when the police officer got shot, and the following day I did the program. I was a bit, I don't want to say hesitant, but I was like, what are people going to say? What are people going to, because some people you're going to touch a very emotional issue,
Yeah.
a sensitive issue, and you don't know to what extent people could drag it, because there were people, believe it or not, Oral, there were people who called me and said, God for him.
Yeah?
Yeah, there were people with that kind of attitude. Unbelievable. Because one person was saying, you remember one person wrote even on Facebook, karma, police gunned down somebody in Belvedere, now somebody gunned down a police, and you have to be so careful on how people bring it across and what will people say. We remember when MP Tamara Leonard said she wanted to hold back a program even after the police officer was shot. There was some movie coming at the movies, and she felt it wasn't the right time to play that. So she was like asking the theater to hold on that. And I thought that was a good gesture, And when I see how people start to beat up on her for that, I was shocked, because I thought the community would have been a little more sensitive towards even the police officer, his family, the situation on the island. But there were people who were like, no, play the thing. So what if somebody got shot? What I have to do with me? One caller even said that to me. Why are you holding back the movie? A man got shot. What that has to do with me? And then it becomes so insensitive. How do you deal with those kind of issues?
Yeah.
How do you bring that back? Because you still have to take the person, their family, their loved ones into account. But everybody is entitled to their opinion.
Yeah.
Whether you agree or disagree, they're entitled to their opinion. But how do you keep it at a sensitive level?
You see, my whole issue with that and why I didn't support it, because I don't believe in censorship.
Nor do I.
And that is, when you get a member of parliament or a minister, anybody that asking It's an indirect form of censorship.
Mm-hmm.
And the theater comply with the wishes of the MP, and I wasn't surprised. But personally, and everyone knows me that I supported the police officer and everyone, and I always support the police. I feel they're doing a great job, and I was very sorry that he was shot and killed. I was at the funeral also, but I didn't support the call to stop the movie. Yeah. And the reason why, because I know what censorship does.
Yep.
And I know how to start. I've gone through it a lot. I mean, you have not gone through what I've gone through. The government has tried to shut me up a lot on my shows.
Yeah, I could very well imagine.
Politicians have tried it. So, and I've gone to court, fight the government and everything else. It's not easy. So that's why I'm never in favor of any politician, anyone calling for censorship, all of that content. And if you look at Straight Outta Compton, the movie didn't play in St. Martin, right? But we still got Straight Outta Compton right now going on in St. Martin. Still, yeah. We still all have all these robberies, killings, and everything else. So, you know, it didn't make a difference.
I am against censorship. Yeah. I don't want nobody telling me, hey, you can't touch this topic, you can't do this, or you can't, you know. I say leave it up to the good judgment of the person. There are people who would say, listen, I wouldn't go and see it. There are those who will say, I will go. And I am totally against censorship too, whether it is in poetry, in calypso, or any kind of song, or anything like that. But I thought that the people would have been sensitive to the situation, and I didn't expect that kind of resistance and opposition to it. I didn't expect that. But no, I agree with you. I am one who I don't conform to censorship.
You see the one
thing like that.
See one thing, Fernando, the public in St. Martin, they're becoming more aware of government and government action, and they're woken up. It's not like before. So that's why you'll find people react in a way surprising. Maybe they didn't explain why they felt the way they felt about the whole thing. But I'm surprised that people said what they said to you about that police officer that was shot and killed, because he was a very nice guy. Yeah. I was in town, and let me tell you, I've never heard so many people speak so good about a police officer.
That is true.
So he was well loved.
I mean, he was well loved. I mean, the day that it happened, I actually saw people crying in the street. You know, people who heard about it just broke down and cried. So that's why I was so amazed that people would react that way. Yeah. I was shocked, you know. But then again, it's to show you that you have a community that is made up of diversity. Some people that would be sensitive, whether you know the person or not, you don't want to rejoice on nobody being killed.
Yeah.
You know, but yet, I mean, when somebody told me that karma, they gone down one, we gone down one, you know, I was like,
yeah, that's ridiculous.
I couldn't support that.
Yeah. But being a talk show host and seeing like how Mr. Lloyd Richardson left, I think it's good. It's nice in a way that you can walk away. I hope someday I can walk away like that. You know, it's always
and
nice
have it continue.
Have it continue. You know, but for you now, you're doing all these shows. I mean, it's not just people's voice. It's also the
viewpoint. Yeah.
Viewpoint. Then you're online tomorrow night,
Tuesday nights, yeah.
And
online.
You're still doing Culture Time?
Yeah, well, I haven't been at Culture Time for a while, but yeah, I'm still a Culture Time partner.
So so all of that you're doing, have you noticed a change in people's attitude towards you in the last, year since you've got into
you know,
the talk show business?
Oral, I'll tell you something. Sometimes I myself am amazed by the amount of people that, if they pass you on the street, there's hardly anybody that doesn't say something to me, you know? And it's amazing because now I know not everybody's going to appreciate what you do or like what you do or like how you do it, or they might dislike one or two things you may have said or done. But the overwhelming support and encouragement I get every day, it is amazing. Bus drivers, taxi drivers, people on the street, grown-ups, children, teenagers, you name it, everybody. So I know, for instance, on Friday, I celebrated my first wedding anniversary last Friday, and Joanne buzzed the pot, and she went like, "Oh, Fernando's your anniversary, happy anniversary!" And between Friday to Sunday, the amount of people that met me and go like, "Happy anniversary, boy! I heard Joanne with it." You know? It was amazing. And I'll tell you something else, huh? The day I had you on the program, the amount of people that met me and said, "Hey, that program with Oral Gibbes was good. Hey, you had on Oral Gibbes. That was so nice." You know, it was one of the programs that I got a lot of comments about. You know, and that touched me because I said to people, I called them up and I said, "Oral, would you like to be my guest on the program?" And I said, no hesitation, no kind of, and he was there. And a lot of people, not only here, but even in some people from Stacia called me and said, you know, we can't always see Oral Gibbes live because you're on St. Martin Cable TV. And they said to me, but some people follow you on via the internet. Yeah. But they said, but it was so good to actually see him. One lady commented and said, "But you ain't age. You're not a gray hair." Yeah. I said, "Well, I don't know about that." You know?
I got my little gray hair. You can see it right there.
So, but it's rewarding, huh? It is rewarding what you do, and the attitude of the people. Yes, it is positive. It gives you the encouragement to go on, and you're doing it for the people. You're doing it for the people. And St. Martin is such an amazing place, huh? I do not use my program if I want to say something about a particular politician. I would write a letter to the editor. Like just the other day, I had an article about Theo Heiliger.
Yeah.
I didn't use my program to bring that across.
I heard he's suing you something like that for that article.
Yeah, I don't know what he'll get out of me. It might cost him more money the court case might cost him more money than what he could get out of me. But no, but the amazing thing is, I wrote the article, and the following day, I had on a green shirt, and who do I meet in town?
Yeah.
The Heiliger. And I tell you what an amazing place St. Martin is. The Heiliger, Yanchi Leonard, and it was Dr. Lloyd Richardson. All of them crossed the street and came over to me. And Theo talked to me about the article. He said, "Yes, you wrote the article, but Fernando, I couldn't talk when I was in government. Now that I'm in opposition, I'll come out talking." You know, it's such an amazing place that although you do that, you know, there's still that nobody takes it personal. Nobody sees it as a personal attack, you know. But I don't use my program if I have my personal opinion about another person. If I have my opinion about an issue, I will discuss that. But not about a person. I would prefer write a letter to the editor so that people don't say, "You see, he's using his own program to beat up on people or to attack people." No. I don't do that.
No, I don't know if you know that elections are going to be held the 26th of September, 2016.
Yeah, I heard that it's in September. I didn't know the exact date, but if it's
September 26th,
September
and the
26th.
new government's supposed to take office the 31st of October, 2016.
Wow. So this parliament has less than a year to sit in office. I think for the new parties coming up, that should be a plus. Because
they don't want that. They want February 9th.
They want February. But all right, let me ask you a question. If you are a new political party, you think from now to February 9th, you could be ready, you could convince people to vote for you, you could expose your party enough and tell people what you're going to do and all that. They want to
ride on the wave of anger. That's what
exactly. Yeah, you know, but trust me, that anger will subside before
by September.
But by September now, they have more time to let people know what they stand for, who they are. I hear about new parties. Who are these parties? What do they stand for? What is it they want? What are they going to change? How? You know? And between now and February, you can't convince me. You don't have enough time. So election being moved up benefits these parties. We have, for the first time that I could recall, a Christian party contesting the
It's
election.
not the first time.
It's not the first time.
No.
But these call themselves Christian party.
Yeah, but that one before. It's in that the whole thing. But I mean, it's quite interesting because it's the second time actually they got a Christian party in Somalia. But the first one was so long ago.
So long that nobody. Yeah. I myself don't recall.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the NRP. Huh? No. But it's just so amazing that with this, what happened back in at the end of September has caused so many people to jump up and say, well, I could do better, or I could make a change.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they can't, but it took this to convince them that they could make that change.
But let me ask you something. Do you think that $11,000 is a motivator?
A demotivator. And this is my personal opinion, I don't see why I have to pay government if I feel I could improve government. Why are you? I don't know. It's taken away democracy.
I mean the 11,000 in terms of being a member of parliament.
The salary.
That's $11,000 not a motivator for why you see all these new political.
That would motivate the dead. It's amongst some of the highest paying salaries, and not only that, but the perks. And I call it perks, and it might not be fair to the parliamentarians to say this, but the traveling, and the other benefits that you get as an MP. Because I wouldn't want to say that they don't deserve it or they don't work for it. The majority of the public doesn't feel so. And if you ask anybody on the street, you think a member of parliament should be paid $11,000, most people, 99% of the people tell you no. It's too much. They don't deserve it. There are certain things that, like if you work for a company, you can't decide, well, there's a meeting, I'm not going, or there's work today, I'm not going. You have to go.
But I wouldn't say they don't deserve it. I've always held this position that they just have to work for their money. But I think we need to pay our people well.
Yep.
And being a member of parliament carries some responsibility. Sometimes what you said is correct in terms of they're not showing up for meetings and so forth. Well, it could be $15,000 too. But you know what? I want to see you
perform
and
earn it.
Yeah. So
and that's what the majority of the people are saying, that they don't work for it.
Yeah.
But whether I feel it should be paid that or not, yeah, sure, but work for it.
Yeah.
And some people might get blinded. To answer your question, they might get blinded by the salary and the perks and the traveling and the some people look at it like the glamour that comes with it. You're MP, So, but there's a lot of work to be done and a lot of responsibilities. And that's why they are paid that type of salary, because of the responsibilities.
I think it was done to attract good people. I think down the road we'll realize that it wasn't a bad idea at all.
I don't see it as a bad idea.
We've gone through some difficulties because it takes time. But I think what has happened too is politicians promise too much and we expect too much. And I think probably...
This is one of the only places on the planet I see election where the politicians come out and tell you what they're going to do for you. In most countries, people tell the politicians what they want them to do. Yeah. Here we just sit back and, okay, what are you going to do for me? And then the politician, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this. In most countries, the people come and say, listen, we want a new hospital. Listen, we need education improved, or we need healthcare improved. Here, the people sit back and allow the politicians to tell them what they intend to do.
But how you feel, I mean, politicians are not too happy with my shows, basically. How do you think they feel about your show?
Let me tell you something. There are those who like it, and there are those who just simply, if I invite them on my show, they just simply wouldn't come.
Really?
They would not come. I know there were parties who have instructed their candidates not to come on my program. And I know that for a fact. there are those who will take every opportunity to come on the program, and then there are those who, whether I invite them or not, they just simply wouldn't come. They would turn it down bluntly and say, no, I'm not coming on your program.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, so, yeah, but I appreciate if I invite you, you tell me, no, I'm not coming on your program. Because I know, well, next time I'm not asking you again. You know? And I don't expect you to come. And then there are those who would call me, say, hey, could I get on your program? Could I get on your program? You know, I believe in giving everybody a chance. I've had people who come to my program and say, listen, I'll come on, or they want to come on the program and they say, but I don't want you to take any calls. Or they'll give me a list of questions and tell me, these are the questions I want you to ask me. Now, it's up to me to say I accept or I don't accept. But when I do my program, I don't want you to come and tell me what I can ask you, because there might be other things I don't know that I want to know, but it's not on the list.
Well,
you know?
Well, I don't know, because with me, if someone says, look, I don't want to take calls, it's not a big problem.
Yeah, to me that's not a big thing.
But don't give me a list of questions to ask, because I'm not going to accept it.
That's what I'm telling you. You know, I could decide, okay, or I could say, no. But I always tell people, wait a minute, you're going to come and give me questions, but what if I have questions? What if there are things that I want to know? I can't ask you that. You know, why are you afraid of call-ins? You know, what is it you're afraid of? You know, so yeah, I've had one or two programs like that.
But I mean, you have like, when you have the politics, you have like a list of questions you're gonna ask them and so forth.
There are certain things I want to know, you know, so I know I'm gonna ask those questions. Now you might come up with new information that might be new to me. I might not quite understand it, or I could imagine that the people don't quite understand it, and I might question you on that. You know, but when you come on my program, I know there are certain things I want to know about my guest, or about what they do, or about what they feel, and during the course of the program, some things might come up that I feel need clarification, or I might not agree with, or I thought was another way, and I would question you on that.
What about, I mean, the last government was a quite interesting government.
Interesting. I don't know what, and I'm saying this from the heart. I don't know what was so interesting about them, because it was like a government that went into a shell.
But you had them on your show?
The last government, the Marcel Gomes government, I never had nobody from that cabinet ever went on any programs.
No, that wasn't my. I had the Minister of Justice here. I had the
I saw that.
I had the Prime Minister 2 times, but I had a few of them.
But you got to admit, this was the most non-press government we ever had.
They were very reluctant to appear in the media.
Yeah, and I found that the Prime Minister took the helm for even ministries that were not his. You know, like when we were expecting a hurricane, the Prime Minister came out and said, we decided to close the schools, not the Minister of Education. You know, there were certain things that he took, I don't want to say charge, but he took the front for. And then I have a problem with this thing where we call the Council of Ministers, we refer to it as a cabinet. The Prime Minister doesn't have a cabinet. Our Prime Minister is appointed just like all the other ministers. You know, a cabinet, I could imagine the Prime Minister of Trinidad has a cabinet. The Prime Minister of St. Kitts Nevis has a cabinet. The Prime Minister of Barbados, St. Lucia, Dominica, they have a cabinet. But here we have a council of ministers. It's just like before 10-10-10, we used to call our members of parliament senators, but we don't have a senate. So we, you know, but I guess it's just things we copy and repeat, you know.
Yeah, because the Prime Minister here can't send home a minister.
No, he can't, because he was appointed just like the rest of them, you know. And as a matter of fact, in most cases, it's not even the same person who appointed the Prime Minister who appointed the other ministers, you know. Now, we have to be straight here. We would say, well, it's Parliament appoint the ministers. But when you have a coalition, You and your coalition partners, you might tell one partner, okay, you appoint the Minister of Justice. I will appoint the Minister of Education. This one will appoint the Minister of Finance, that sort of thing. So it's different members of the coalition doing the appointing. So the Prime Minister may not have even, well, he was appointed just like all the others. And the point I'm trying to make is, in some cases, the same person who appointed the Prime Minister is not necessarily the same person who appoint another minister.
Right. It's true. And you know, I want to jump back to the beginning, because you know that the time when I was on the show with you a few weeks ago, just as the show was over, I got a very interesting text from a former minister, you know?
Yeah, I remember.
And the minister was angry, but I didn't call your name.
You didn't call her name.
I didn't call.
And you were very tactful about that. You didn't mention her name.
No.
But you know the saying, who the cap fit, let him wear it? I think a cap fit somebody, and he, you know, the minister calling, and I think his intention was to give you a tongue lashing.
But it's kind of strange, because if this is what I don't like about politics. If they perceive that you said something that they don't agree with, they're quick to get upset. On the show, I also mentioned about Tia Halliger, that MP Tia Halliger, I've known it for a long time, and how I felt about him and everything else. And at the same time, although I like him as a person and I'm really close with him, when it comes to politics, and if you do something I don't like, I make it known publicly. Yep. And I was shocked how many people met me after that and was telling me that they really appreciated that. I was really surprised. Yeah. I didn't expect that.
Theo Heiliger, if you ask anybody about Theo, when Theo got into politics, I supported him. I was his campaign manager, as a matter of fact. I wrote many of his speeches, many of the slangs and slogans that Theo Heiliger used came from me, you know. And a lot of people might not know that, or they might not remember. And I see Theo as one of the most tactful politicians that we have. When I say tactful, he's somebody that people are always concerned about, because you don't know his next move. You know, where other people are so predictable. Yeah. Theo's that kind of person that, okay, what's his next move? Let's watch and see what will he do next. You know, but if he does something I don't agree with, I would write it, I would say it, and I'm not condemning the individual. I might condemn what he has done, or the way he may have done something, but not the individual.
Were you surprised at the fall of the government?
No, you know, I saw it coming. It was just a matter of when, you know. As a matter of fact, there was a time where they blamed me for hampering the fall of the government.
Because you stopped the fall of the
that on my program, I brought it out beforehand, and some of those who had to assist in you know, I deter them, you know. But no, it's something that I was expecting. I saw it happening. It was like London Bridge. It was like the Berlin Wall. It was like, you know, you saw it happening. But it was just a matter of when. All
right. I tell you what, we got to go to a break. We come back. We'll continue to speak with Mr. Fernando Clark right here on Oral Gibbes Live. Mr. Clark is hosting People's Voice, and the midday show is called again.
People's Voice on Sunday, and Viewpoint from Monday to Friday.
And then on Tuesday nights on SOS?
Yep, I have online. Yeah, so, hey, now that you mention that, I spend a lot of time on radio indeed.
All right, so we take a call, and then you have a question or comment for Mr. Clark, give us a call, 54-221-7054, 221-70 is our telephone number. You're on live caller, hello?
Yes, hello. Nice show. Fernando, good night.
Good night. How you doing?
I'm all right. The two big guns up there talking with the people. But I would like to throw a topic to you guys. Has any one of you recently passed on the French side?
What part of the French side?
Drive to Marigot.
Yes, yeah, I have.
You see the Christmas story they have in Marigot, the lights hang up?
Oh, yes,
You understand? What happened to we over here?
We broke.
Broke?
Ain't Christmas yet. Oh, boy.
We broke because the money that they were having for them lights were whole new politics.
Christmas,
New election.
Christmas coming September 26, 2016.
Well, oil so now I'm not voting, but the issue is I could understand certain things that are happening. When they put them up, the people them are taking them and carrying them home for their own.
We're on that side?
On the other side, yeah, they are taking on the lights and use them for their own Christmas tree.
Wow.
So how come they're not doing that in Marigot?
No, because I got civilized people.
No.
I got civilized people, but the people over here now are taking on the ornaments and going with them. I could understand for that, but yeah, man, they got so many business there. You know, much people have come from abroad to do some shopping here. You don't think the businesses them could at least donate some of the lights to dress up from street and back street? I find that ridiculous.
But, caller, let me tell you something. The truth is this, my personal opinion again. I think it would be hypocritical of us to decorate Front Street and Back Street with the deplorable condition of the street itself. Now, I'm going to decorate the sides and the top, but the ground that I have to walk on, the road that I have to drive on in a deplorable condition, it would be hypocritical to decorate those two streets.
You got a point of Fernando, but then with the lights you could see where you're going, and you won't fall down in the craters or stump your toe. Okay, right. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Okay.
Have you driven by Great Bay Hotel lately?
Yes.
You saw those toys outside and gift wrapped on the
Yeah.
grass? Well, what's in the box? I assume it's...
Just a light, because I just passed there on my way here.
But check it out, because when you drive by there now, there's some gifts, and they're all gift wrapped.
Yeah.
I'm sure those boxes are empty, though.
They are empty, yeah.
I'll take a call. If you're Oral Gibbs Live, call hello. You're on live, call hello.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night, Doc.
Listen, the same thing that Fernando said there a while ago, I told somebody. Decorating Front Street and Back Street with the deplorable roads would not be good. As a matter of fact, many people, their cars have encountered much damage on those roads. And now they have to foot the bill. My car, for one, and I'm sure there are other persons. I have heard, I don't know if it is true, that on the French side, if you can prove that your car has been damaged as a result of the road, that they refund you the money or they fix it. I don't know if that is true.
I don't know that either.
But nevertheless, decorating it would not serve the purpose of portraying that beauty. What people should do, as a matter of fact, encourage Christmas carol singing again. But when you look at it, things are not properly in order either because of much crime and so forth. But that has to be ended. A breakthrough must be made. And it must be seen to it by those in government now that it be well supported, or else it is giving people more and more authority that they are the ones to decide. And that is not so. Now coming back
to you, Oral Gibbes. What you said there about we haven't had Christian parties before is true. I told Pastor Smith he is not the first. Their party is not the first. I voted for my deceased relative, Jose Lake, and his party was Christian Democrat. So you are right, already. However, Pastor Smith said he checked and he can't find in a record. Well, that shows something bad because it shows that history have not been highlighted. Mm-hmm. Because what should have been written then, it is now going down in the annals of history for the first time that we now have a Christian party.
Okay.
Gentlemen, have a good night.
Thank
you. Too. Thank you, Doc.
All right, good night, Doc.
Yeah. Well, no, like I said, I thought it was to my knowledge the first one, but I remember Doc saying that also before. And the caller mentioned something about the decorating of our streets, and so that used to be a tradition long ago, and all of a sudden, over the past couple of years, that stopped. Or the decorations have become so minimal.
It was like a private initiative. I know Mr. Bobby Velasquez, some other groups used to be involved in doing that.
But I don't know who, how, or what, but it used to be done.
Yeah.
Now it is so minimal, or they have only they only concentrate on the government administration building.
Yeah.
I don't know if by next year we'll be decorating the other one. I don't know, but yeah. But indeed, in Marigot, I've been to Marigot Friday evening to the fish fry, and I've been there Saturday again to go to a party. And in Sandy Ground, right there by the burying ground, the roundabout there, beautifully decorated.
I'll check. It's live. You want to call? Hello?
Hello, can I get on the line now?
Yes, you're on the air live, sir. Go right ahead, sir.
Good night.
Good night.
Both to both of you.
Good night.
I have this remark or comment for both of you. I don't care which political party, which politician it is. But I don't agree, I can't say stop you all, that they're going to say don't take no call. They're there preaching, they are there for the people, we're working for the people, but still afraid to take calls from the people. I think that's cowardice. And I don't think you all should, and Billy does it also, don't take calls to certain politicians. But I think that's not the right way. You're there for the people, don't be afraid of the people to ask you questions. Have a good evening.
All right.
Okay, good evening.
Let me see the other call, and then we come at that, okay? Yeah, so what do you think about that? What do you say?
It's like I said before, if I invite a politician to my program and he said, listen, Fernando, I don't want to take any calls for X, Y, Z reasons, it's up to me to agree or not.
Yeah.
You know, and I may agree or I might disagree.
Yeah.
But usually I want them to accept calls.
Yeah, but see, as I say, when it comes to one of the reasons why sometimes calls are not good, I've noticed over the years, people are not calling because they want to ask a question. They're calling to see how they can put you in a corner on the spot. Yeah. And that's, the show, it's not the intention of the show to do that.
Because sometimes the politician has some good information.
But because of all the crazy questions, stupid questions coming, you
get
don't
all
get
kind of crazy questions that divert it. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think this is something that we need to understand. Another thing too, I don't know how you think about this. Maybe it's different in radio, but it takes a lot to do a show. It's very costly. But the public seems. Let me take this call and come back to that. Oral Gibbes live and caller. Hello. Yeah, caller.
Yes, there's one thing I would like to mention.
Yeah, very quickly.
That the Indians and other prominent business, they should decorate their places
properly.
Okay.
They should.
Okay.
Right now, things are bad otherwise because of the road.
Yeah.
But they should decorate their places, the casinos and all those places. They make the money.
Very good point. Very good point, Doc. Appreciate it very much. Thanks a lot. That's a good point you made there.
That's a good point. Yeah. Decorate your own place. You know, there are those who do it the inside, but if you go up Front Street right now, 90% of the businesses have hurricane shutters, security windows, and all of that. So you can't even window shop.
Yeah.
You know, so for them to decorate, it's only during the day you would see it when they're open.
Yeah.
You know, but I agree with him though. They should decorate. You know.
Yeah. Jumping back to what I was saying to you about, I don't think sometimes the public realize it's easy to sit at home and criticize a show, but come and do it now.
Oh, you know, one day a lady said to me, why when you on the radio and people serious, you make a joke in between? I said, that's what I do, sweetheart. I said, but if you could do better, come. And it's not that I don't take the advice, and not that I don't appreciate it, but be constructive and not destructive. It's not easy. What you do here, Oral Gibbs, what we do, people see it as, oh, you just go behind a microphone and you. No. There's a lot of research. There's a lot of things you have to pay attention to. And sometimes it's very difficult to keep you cool because sometimes not only the politicians they try to put on the spot, but they try to put you on the spot. How do you deal with that? You know, you have to remain calm. Regardless of what people say about you, they expect you to remain calm. You know, regardless of what somebody tells you or say about you.
You know, I've had a past of not remaining calm when you say something.
I've had a couple of guests already that flipped at people, you know. I had one guest call a caller. You see, that's an ignorant caller. I said, no, you can't say that. I've had the late Eldred Van Putten, who at the time was calling Sherwood Scott Williams a dodo on my program. I said, pardon, you can't do that. He said, no. I said, no. And I banned him from the program. I said, you can't come back on my program until you apologize. And eventually he did. But how do you deal with those kind of situations? You know, sometimes I plead the fifth, and I would put a disclaimer. I would say, the views expressed by my co-host or by the caller are not necessarily shared by me. You know, but you have to control these things, huh? And it's not an easy job because if it was, a lot more people would be doing it.
But it's a lot easier now. When I first started issues, I was younger too, and people felt like they could push me around.
Yeah.
And they'll call in and try to do it, and I'll just straighten you up. And if you didn't want to be straightened, I'll cut you off.
Yeah. That's the other thing people have to realize, huh? We have the control, you know.
So up to today, some people still don't like me because of that.
I told a lady that one time, I said, when you quarreling with me, only you and your house will hear you, you know. But so the world will hear me.
But you know what I saw the other night, and this was shocked me. CNN, Don Lemon was interviewing 3 people. And there's this black lady, beautiful lady, very intelligent, very articulate. She is like a spokesperson for Donald Trump. And you know what he said to the woman? You better stop or I'll cut you off. I was shocked. Because on network television, a host on a news show telling a guest, you either stop or I cut you off. I was surprised. But then someone was saying.
That's not the first time I've heard that.
But you know what? Then I said, you know, probably the producer was screaming in his ear to say that.
Yeah.
But you know what Don Lemon should have done? He should have said, look, my producer is saying you got to straighten up or I'll cut you off. But the way he did it.
It's as if he made that
decision.
decision.
Wow, it was really, yeah.
You know, I've heard one time too, I believe it was on CBS, where a conversation got heated and the host said to the guest, I'm going to end this conversation here now. I'm going to end this conversation. And I was like, what? Because they were both at tugger, you know, at loggerheads. Yeah. But and I don't like cutting off people. I like people to make their point as quick as possible. If you're calling on a program, make your point.
But they're more civilized now. People are easy. When I started, people were rough, you know.
Yeah, boy.
People were rough. You couldn't, you know, and you have to remember in those days you had the SPA, not the National Alliance.
Yeah.
And their people were rough.
Yeah,
and they didn't see me as a SPA sympathizer at all. They saw me as a DP sympathizer. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, you were you were not in their corner.
And then I'm on a station that's owned by majority SPA people.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, it was hard, really, really hard.
And I know those kind of days here where, again, you know, I could tell you because when I started online, I announced it a couple of times that, hey, in 2-3 weeks, I'm going to start this program so that people would know. And I stopped playing the music. By the first 3 programs, no call, not one. And then I announced, hey, listen, next week I'm going back to play music. And it was Julian Rolox who came to me and said, Fernando, don't do that. The people are listening. They're not calling, but they listen.
Yeah.
But I had to spend 3 hours talking.
Wow.
You know, and then people started calling in. And, you know, but if you go back to the days, you know, the people, the cowboys, the sugar boys, the Lolitas, you know, you remember those?
Yeah, people are nicer now. Those are rougher days, huh?
Yeah. You know, people are taking it. I remember I hear statements on radio, on talk shows that I was like, he didn't just say that. You know, I remember one time Sugar Boy was on Lloyd program, and Sugar Boy was saying there's no such thing as a good Jamaican. And Lloyd said to him, no, you can't say that. There's good and bad in everything. And Sugar Boy said, but not Jamaicans. And Lloyd said, no, but you can't say that. There are good Jamaicans and there are bad ones, just like you have good St. Martiners and bad ones.
Yeah.
And Sugar Boy said to Lloyd, name one. You know, and I was like, how would I deal with something like that? You know? But, you know, sometimes you could laugh at the things that happen, but at the moment, it's like, wait, how do I handle this?
Yeah.
You know, I've been on the radio station at PJD2, and you know, when the PPA came out, Don was the number 2 candidate on the PPA.
Yeah.
And somebody calling on the program criticizing Don. And I mean, going to town on him. And I'm like, wait a minute, boy. How do you handle this? You know? And I told him, well, that's your opinion. I don't know if anybody else agrees with you, but that's your opinion.
I mean, other time, 20 seconds.
It's amazing. And I will continue doing what I do, and I know you will continue doing what you do. And, you know, I want to see continuity. I want to see young people taking the helm and continuing with these programs.
Well, I want to thank you for coming and being my guest, and much success, all right? Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Fernando Clark. That's it for now. I'll see you next time. Till then, good night. Take care. Bye.